Hey everyone, it's Rosette, and I'm back today with another decoding. I recently watched the movie I Am Legend again, which first came out in 2007, and saw how what they put in there then is what is happening to us now. Of course, we know this was no accident, that they use movies as a form of spell casting. I've heard they actually have ceremonies before some movies are made, a way to give their magic more power. And we can see how things are accelerating now. I watched a trailer just the other day for a movie called Songbird. They supposedly made this movie just this past summer, and it has everything in it of what they're doing to us now and what they're planning on doing to us in the near future. We live in an inverse world, so we shouldn't be surprised. The news is fake and the movies are true. So let's take a look at I Am Legend to see what all they put in there to program us with. If we look at the title, we notice that it is in a pyramid shape with the eye at the very top, the all-seeing eye, and in Masonic black and white, of course. Apple's iPhones and iPads are named in homage to the eye, the all-seeing eye, and we know it's part of their agenda so they can track us. As he endures, he alone exists. Everything else is show. So neither the earth nor any other created object can say, I am, but rather, I was. God alone can say, I am. So right away we can see the title is in direct mockery to God by using I am. I Am Legend is not talking about God, but about a man, a black man who saves humanity. I am legend. Legend is phonetically similar to legion. I am legion. Legend, legion. Mark 5:9. And he asked him, What is thy name? And he answered, saying, My name is Legion, for we are many. We know legion are demons dwelling inside of men, like this virus in the movie, turning men into demons. Also, when describing someone as a legend, you are saying he is extremely well known and a badass. So in a way, this story is to praise, pay homage to Lucifer. Remember, God is good, and the Luciferians always have to one-up God and say, Lucifer is great, right? God is good, so Lucifer is great. So I Am Legend is saying, instead of I am God, I am good, for Lucifer they say, I am great, I am legend. Another thing I noticed in the title of I Am Legend is that we have an anagram in there, right? For end game. This is no coincidence. This is their end game, to wipe out the white race and take over the earth. They're going to wipe out a lot of the other races as well, right? They're going to get them down to 500 million. Why do they hate whites so much? Because whites carry God's law within their hearts. They can't rule the world how they like with something like pesky morals getting in the way. You have to carry the fire. I don't know how to. Yes, you do. Is the fire real, the fire? Yes, it is. Where is it? I don't know where it is. Yes, you do. It's inside you. It always was there. I can see it. The fire is God's law within our hearts. Pesky morals getting in the way. Morals and dogma. Dogma, the inverse is am God. Right? Dogma, am God in reverse. We can see their plans in their book's title. Morals on the right side, us, the real God, and dogma on the left, their God. They want us to believe that God and the devil are on an even keel. They want us to believe there is a devil, but the only devil is the one in the details, the one in that corrupted race's messed up minds. So when I say morals is on the right here, remember that you have to look from whatever the object is or picture outwards, right? So if you were that object facing outwards, morals would be on the right. That's how they do it, okay? They do the inverse of how we see it. The actor Will Smith, a literal blacksmith, a black man with the last name Smith. A blacksmith is code for a mason. And who is a mason? Well, most are due people thinking that if they join this fraternity, they can somehow get a leg up in society. But the ones at the top see them as useful idiots to control and do their bidding. Do they care about Will Smith? Of course not. He's just a useful tool in their end game. He's accompanied by a German shepherd, who is known as the shepherd to his flock. Well, Jesus comes to mind, so Will Smith is usurping this role. But also Minerva, Athena, had the symbol of the German shepherd. She was the guardian of her flock as well. And it is a German shepherd because the original shepherds were Fryan, Aryan, German. It says so in the Oralinda book. The man in black, dressed in black. The man in black, dressed in black. So the story begins in New York City, ground zero to the killer virus. First thing we notice is that the anchor is black. Blacks only make up approximately 13% of the U.S. population, but are now taking up a majority of the news jobs. Have you noticed this trend? Trying to erase whites from the TV except for in roles as villains. Or imbeciles, right? Dipshits. That's not all we're following. Here's Karen at the help desk. She's interviewing Dr. Alice Crippen, who supposedly found a cure for cancer. Notice Alice's Masonic black and white polka dots. Out of 10,009 tested, 10,009 have been cured, she tells us. 10,009 is the zip code for the East Village in New York. So they are telling us in code precisely where they consider ground zero to be. But what does that really mean? In the movie, they want us to think that this is where the virus first emerged. But what I think it really means is this is the area where the plandemic was first conceived. Or at least by these type of people, right? It's like a shout out to them. They put it in there and they're probably all laughing. 10,009. There are quite a few famous people who make their home here. Lady Gaga, Madonna, Sarah Jessica Parker, and Rachel Weisz. And radicals such as Jerry Rubin, Abby Hoffman, and Allen Ginsberg live here. A veritable cornucopia of a certain tribe, it seems. This is also the area of the Bowery. Remember the Bowery King in John Wick? Man in Black? And then, as we slowly zoom into the city, notice the sign says, quarantine, disease, you must not come outside, you must not go inside. Everyone is on lockdown. Fear, fear. Sound familiar? And we see this iconic building, which was ground zero for John Wick at the Continental Hotel. And then the drone zooms past the UN with its black monolith, or moon Lilith, the black cube of Saturn. Remember, Un is an ancient name for Lucifer, the Un, or the One, ground zero. That's probably where they thought this up, right? So the black cube worshippers would believe the inverse of God. That's why Dr. Robert Neville's companion is a dog. I am dog instead of I am God. Dogma. Female dog. Samantha. Dog Ma. And they are driving around in a Mustang, a metal horse, hunting deer. Modern man's version of the hunter. And you could see the cross on the back, associating Neville with Christ. We see the military tanks, remnants of what we are to expect in the future, getting us ready, preparing us for this programming. On the right here, they want us to see the butterfly with God still loves us underneath. The butterfly is, yes, used in MK Ultra programming, but also is a symbol of rebirth. It would be the insect version of the phoenix, coming out of its cocoon, a new beginning. Apparently, game animals were not susceptible to the virus, and Mother Nature takes back the land. He's about to shoot the deer when a lioness pounces on her prey. He sees the male lion walk over with their cubs. What's with this role reversal? More inverse programming. We are so removed from nature that I'm sure many will believe these are the roles of the male and the female lion. So we have the black man out during the day and the white man out during the night. Smart black man in lab coat, stupid white acting like an animal. William Smith, Will I Am. Who is the will I am? That is force of will, what the Luciferians believe. That through force of will they can defeat God. We saw this battle, this force of will battle, playing out in Batman v Superman, right? Batman would be Lucifer, Superman would be God. And we see it here. Notice they put the Batman v Superman symbol in this movie to connect the two, even though Batman v Superman didn't come out until 2016, 9 years later. Neville lives right across from the Washington Monument. Of course, the Masons show Washington as one of their own, but at this stage of my awareness, I would say they usurped good old George. He was a Mason, most likely, but not with the same connotations as Masons today. I highly doubt he was in an alliance with a secret brotherhood that wanted to rule the world. He was of noble character and took his role as both general and later as our first president very seriously and would consider it one of the most important achievements of his life. So he would not be a traitor to his country. So I don't believe this at all, that he's down for the Masons in the context of how they are today. No way. The inscription on the monument reads, "Let us raise a standard to which the wise and the honest can repair." See, I think George was wise and honest, so there's no way he would be a corrupt Mason like they are today. Let us raise a standard to which the wise and the honest can repair. The event is in the hand of God. Washington. So that's the part they want us to read, right? The event is in the hand of God. This event that they're doing to us. More Savior programming with Neville on the cover of Time magazine. Notice the M in Time directly above his head, looking like devil horns. So we know everything is carefully placed in movies That staging of items, like Neville on the Time magazine cover, has a purpose. So does this art on the wall on the left here in the hall. What does it look like to you? Does it remind you of this? QR barcodes for COVID tracking. So they had this plan since at least 2007. They show another version here on the windowsill when Neville is in the quarantine apartment looking for supplies. And they are making the QR codes a requirement to fly in the Philippines. And here's a colored version of the QR code. And we are supposed to follow China's example. Here, showing us they've been programmed to use this code since 2017. Neville and Sam get ready for the night. Look how that kind of looks like an eye, doesn't it? His thoughts wander to the night he last saw his family alive. We can tell by the background that it is Christmas time. Sometime in December, the virus hits with a vengeance. Is this what they have planned for us? They tell us no family gatherings or else. Like somehow the virus would know that you're sitting down with your family and not that you were in line at Costco, or better yet, that you were at a Black Lives Matter event. Then the virus would leave you alone. 30 minutes, Colonel. Copy. 30 minutes to what? They're sealing off the island. So with 30 and 30, you get your 33 code, right? The 3 in each. Sealing us off into smaller and smaller groups. First, it's by country, sealing off our borders, which they're doing right now. Then it's by state or province, which I just saw something on the news about Washington upset that Idaho is so lax coming across its borders, and Idaho is the one bringing the COVID to Washington. So pretty soon, watch, they'll probably close that border between those two states, right? Then by city, then by neighborhood, until finally you are trapped inside your home. That becomes your final cell. Look, Mommy, it's a butterfly. Remember the butterfly with the words, God is still with us underneath? And associating Neville with Christ all the more here, doing his exercises in this position. Arms spread out, feet crossed. Neville goes down the stairs, down into the abyss. Notice the blue hue. Blue is associated with the left, with Lucifer. Red is associated with the right, with Christ. Remember Lucifer, the blue horse at the entrance to the Denver airport? So the mad scientist is experimenting on lab animals, rats in this case, down in his basement. Compound 6 shows decreased aggression response. The others either didn't kill the virus or it killed the host. A note here, viruses are not contagious. Viruses are solvents made by the body to cleanse and detoxify it. The only way you can get a virus is if you are injected with one. The next day we see him pick corn. He is both hunter and gatherer. Man starting over. He goes into a quarantine apartment to gather supplies. This is put in here to get us programmed for exactly what they're trying to do to us today. Quarantine, lockdown. It is all coming to fruition, and so many are so blind they can't even see it. And they want us to believe this virus boogeyman can jump species. Infected dogs can come out at dusk, says the poster. But there is absolutely no proof of cross-species contamination. The only way a dog could infect a human is if a human is injected with a sick dog's blood directly into the human's bloodstream. That is how people could get avian flu, swine flu, and flu from minks, as they're telling us today. Minks are being used symbolically because they are white, and phonetically because mink is so close to monk, and monks are Christians. Notice the Baphomet star next to his left shoulder on the Christmas tree. Left, the sinister path, right? The left-hand path. Neville stops to get gas. Look at the sign. We have 666 in the first row. And self, as in service to self, as opposed to how we should be, service to others. This is a Luciferian mindset, service to self, 666. Another sign of service to self is here in the building where the zombies are living. Tons of cash strewn all over the floor. Cash will be worthless when this virus programming is in full force. We see the infected grouped together in the dark, which reminds me of bats. Sam can see them and is in fear, hiding out under a desk. The leader of the infected is an evil white guy who chases Neville. He smashes through a second-story window and lands on the white guy who was the closest on his heels. The white guy disintegrates in the light as if he is a vampire. But we know who the true vampires are, don't we? The same ones that use this cable and blood to lure an infected out. The cable is used for cabal, like the cable on an initiate mason's neck, and the cable worn loosely on the couple's necks on the Devil Tarot card. Cable for cabal or Kabbalah, the ones behind this programming. The infected, looking like a vampire, swathed in black, hanging upside down. They make it look like a bat. The white infected lets out a primal scream, while the sophisticated black man is concerned. Back at the lab to do more testing, trying to find a cure. We see the one-eye symbolism of do as thou will. This virus was man-made. Neville records his progress. Vaccine trials continue. I am not able to transfer my immunity to infected host. The virus is called the Crippen virus, or KV for short, they tell us. K is 11 and V is 22. So adding 11 and 22, you get your 33 virus. And Crippen is phonetically close to crippling, as in crippling, killing off the population. Crippling virus. Let's take a look at our Christ figure's name, Robert Neville. The name Neville means new town and is of French origin. So we have a black man with a white man's name. Would we see the character as so noble and wise if he was called Kunta Kinte or Laquan DeMarco or something like that? And Newtown should also raise eyebrows when we think of that famous town with Blanky Hook Elementary School located within. Newtown is a satanic town with its members staging that event. The whole town was in on it. If you don't believe me, look up the mortgages for all those houses and see who paid them off and when. They all got paid off at the same time, right at Christmas. It's like a Christmas bonus for them doing a good job in this event here. Then we have Robert, 33 in numerology, Newtown, staging this event in this movie, right? Remember Robbie Parker? Both Robbie and Parker are 33 in numerology. And here we have them doing the duping delight, and we have the masonry for the masons right behind him, the brickwork. And of course, we have evil in the name Neville. New evil. The new evil they're putting upon us, reigning in this agenda to wipe out the majority of humans on this earth. And they'll do it with a big smile. New York becomes New Town when the humans get a do-over. Of course, sans the majority of people on Earth, we know from their Georgia Guidestones that they want to get the world population down to 500 million, right? Mask programming in full swing, looky there, in 2007. If anything, breathing in your own exhaust will exacerbate any illness you might acquire. It is not normal, not the new normal. It is unnatural. It is against nature and a psychological form of enslavement. It is done to suppress our natural urge to fight back. Two balls, skulls on both sides, and Cain, the fork in the middle, is behind this. Tubal Cain, the secret code of the Masons. The soldiers do an iris scan to determine who is infected. It works on Neville and his daughter, but then malfunctions on his wife. He has the soldiers test her again, and this time they get the correct result. Do they have some machine like this waiting in the wings to decide who is good and who isn't? Could ones they don't want to be good be given a fail? Since viruses aren't even contagious, I find this scanner will be a complete joke. Or it'll probably scan the opposite, right? Because if you don't go get a vaccine and they scan you, it should say good, right? People that actually get the vaccine, it should say fail. So when they have it say good, that means you're vaccinated. You have the virus, the killer virus in you. The white woman fails and is left behind. And notice her face, because she's going to be familiar soon. Neville's wife and daughter are placed into a helicopter so they can escape the island. Marley makes a butterfly for her dad. Another butterfly. Back to present, and we find Neville checking the sunrise and sunset times, so he knows when to get back to the house before the infected come out. We also learn it is his birthday. It is a special one indeed, but not in a good way. The infected leader set up a trap for Neville, and he gets captured. We see him doing the hanged man here, like on the tarot card, and like in the stage photo of the straitjacket dude, doing it on 911. He cuts himself down but gets pierced in the side of his leg from a spike on the ground. But his faithful companion Sam stays by his side while he struggles to get back to his car, while the dogs of war are waiting for the light to fade so they can attack. The devil dogs pounce, and although Neville was able to finally shoot them, Sam was wounded in the melee. Samantha, look at me, girl. So he calls his dog Sam and has us think of his dog as a male throughout the movie, until now when Sam is dying. Then we find out Sam is really Samantha, a female. They wanted us to believe Sam was male, heroic and valiant like an alpha male, so that when we realize it was a female, we'll think, females can be like that too, huh? Just like the female lion killing the prey, acting like the male. And Sam, of course, is a nickname for Samael, Lucifer, or here, Samantha, right? Sam, Samantha. And another name for Lucifer, a female name, would be Lilith, the female name. Remember Son of Sam, the killer David Berkowitz, who said the reason they used that name was for the sons of Samhain, sons of Samael, sons of Satan, of Lucifer. Now, I'm not saying Sam the dog is evil. On the contrary, I am saying that they take our good symbols, the sheepdog, and use them for bad. They do this time and time again. Samantha turned, and Neville had to kill her with his bare hands. The next day, Neville visits the girl and says hello, showing both his humanity and his integrity. He is very civilized, unlike the white infected. I promised a friend I would say hello to you today. Hello. Hello. Please say hello to me. Please say hello. He waits until nightfall and drives to where the infected are and waits. He wants to take out as many of them as he can. This is a suicide mission. We can see his left eye is lit up. He is now doing service to self, right? When he's trying to find a cure, that would be service to others. But now he just wants to do what gratifies him, right? Getting revenge, service to self. The evil white man and his minions come out. The battle between the good, wholesome black man and the evil white man comes to a head. But God has other plans for him, as we see the symbol of the cross swinging in his rescuer's car. As Neville is resting at home, he has a flashback of the final moments of his wife and child. We see the military has bombed the bridges. Is this what they want us to prepare for? Them taking out the bridges and roads to stop the spread? He wakes up to Anna making the breakfast. We have a Latina and a white boy who survived, who must have immunity and somehow beat the odds and are still among the living. We're going to Vermont to the survivors' colony in Bethel, the safe zone. The virus couldn't survive the cold, she says. Somehow Vermont's winter is cold enough to kill the virus, but Pittsburgh's isn't, New York's? Bethel, of course, is used, so we think of Bethlehem and Jesus, confirming this character is the Christ. I'm not leaving. This is ground zero. This is my site. Did all of them die? Yes. My God. God didn't do this, Anna. We did. Well, he's right there. It's evil men from a particular tribe controlling things and implementing their plan. It's called their great work, and they've been working on it for generations. It has now finally come to the end, to their end game. Notice how he is like a mad scientist in the basement with pictures of his captured victims on the wall. What does this remind you of? It's meant to remind you of the experiments that happened during World War II against a particular tribe. It is a subtle programming. It's God's plan. Let me tell you about God's plan. There were 6 billion people on Earth when the infection hit. They had a 90% kill rate. That's 5.54 billion people dead. Crashed out and bled out dead. Less than 1% immunity left. 12 million healthy people like you, me, and Ethan. The rest of the 588 million turned into your dark seekers. They got hungry and killed and fed on everybody. Every single person that you and I have ever known is dead. There is no God. There is no God. So they use 6 billion in there, so you will think of the 6 million victims from World War II. The event is in the hand of God, Washington. Neville fights them with fire. Fire is the symbol for Freya, using the symbol of the whites against them. Fire is an anagram for Freya. It's a symbol for the white people. Death and destruction, their order out of chaos. A similar scene from before, where Sam hid under the desk and Neville had to save her, but this time it's in his house. Neville saves them. The leader of the evil white dark seekers, as Neville calls them, gives an animalistic roar, rallying his troops to attack. Notice they have the white seeking the dark. Is that true? Do the whites seek the dark? What I see are the darks seeking the whites, seeking to live and parasite off of all white countries. White flight, not dark flight. They hurry down to the basement where Anna discovers the dark seeker is cured. But the rest of her tribe seem to be content on revenge and don't care about a cure. Those awful white people. Let me save you. I can save you. He smashes through the glass in a blind rage until it forms a butterfly pattern, like his daughter would always do, like what was shown on the wall. And then he sees the butterfly tattoo on her neck and knows that yes, God still loves us. The butterfly, rebirth, a new world is possible. He comes up with a plan. He has Anna and Ethan go into the oven. Yes, he has an oven down there to burn the bodies from the failed experiments. So this oven will remind us of the ovens, right? And this time he's using the oven against the whites. Can we see the programming here? He martyrs himself. Black Christ is the martyr to save humanity from the evil whites. It reminds me of the Kanye West album cover too, right? A beautiful fall day, just like now, with all the trees changing colors. Anna and Ethan, Anna means beautiful and Ethan means strong, drive to Bethel and are led in through the gate. Sanctuary, a holy place. We see a church in the background. A black hand takes the cure from her. Black leaders in this new world. Notice they're doing a Masonic handshake. The craft is alive and well. Their mission is accomplished. Like here, with the two-hand hold and thumb pressing on the back of the hand. And no, the Jesuits don't control the world. The bankers behind the Jesuits do. It is all about the blood, jus sanguinis, not the land, jus soli, as they would have us believe. In 2009, a deadly virus burned through our civilization, pushing humankind to the verge of extinction. Dr. Robert Neville dedicated his life to the discovery of a cure and the restoration of humanity. On September 9, 2012, at approximately 8:49 p.m., he discovered that cure. And at age 52, he gave his life to defend it. We are his legacy. This is his legend. Light up the darkness. But what they are really trying to do is darken the light. This task is as preposterous as it sounds. It can't be done. And eventually God will tire of their attempts and will swat them down like the pesky flies that they are. Take care.